Focus and repetition equals consistency. Focus and repetition equals consistency. And consistency is what leads to success.
And that's really all we're talking about here.
No, just show up and keep doing it.
The key to success is consistency.
Yeah.
Taking the correct action in the right direction over time leads to success.
Stop stopping.
That's it. Right?
it.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Life Insurance Academy podcast. Chris and I are in studio today, and we're talking about a subject which we hear about a lot from agents. We see a lot in the industry because once you've been in the industry for 8-10 years, you pretty much see all the cycles. You see the people rise, and you see them fall, and you see them disappear. Mm-hmm. You see agents come, and you see agents go. You see agents struggle, you see agents win. You see agents struggle, they overcome adversity, and they win at a high level. You see others, as soon as they hit the struggle, they fade and they disappear. And we keep getting the questions asked of us, what's the secret to success in life insurance sales? If I could just find the magic leads, if I could just find the right IMO, if I could just find the right carrier that stopped changing things, if I could just find, if Chris, it is what it is. Yeah. We're in this big, beautiful insurance business. What are you hearing, man, out there? And why are we talking about this today? This subject that I think most people struggle with. And so we're going to call it Stop Stopping.
Yeah, I think
Stop
that's great.
Stopping. Because there's something that most agents don't understand, that they don't want to understand, I think. What is that? In your opinion, what's the number one success key in this business?
Well, I do feel like they search for the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow for agents, who, and it's probably, I'll say this, some of it is not their fault because of the way things are marketed. Mm-hmm. They may jump on, Facebook, and they'll see an ad on Facebook of a guy walking on the beach on his phone. Hey, and he's yelling in the wind.
We all know who that is because he pops up on our YouTube channel all the time.
If you ever want to sell life insurance at a high level,
Mm-hmm.
And there's this marketing that's going out, and it's not reflective of the work that it demands to have that level of success.
Mm-hmm.
And so people come in and they think it's easy, and it's not as easy as they thought it was, and
that guy's telling a lie.
No, there's a great opportunity.
He's got a great opportunity, right? So there's great opportunities everywhere.
Correct.
But there's a whole bunch of other stuff between that image and reality.
Yeah, so I think it's creating an illusion or a mirage or a pot at the end of the rainbow, gold, whatever, where agents are looking for, like, somebody's not telling me something. They're not telling me the truth about this opportunity, and that person has it. That person has it. That person has it. Or, okay, we'll say that's like a front entry level agent, maybe an agent who's been in it, who's struggled for a little while. But then there are people who are not getting started because they've heard certain things about costs. They don't have the money, they don't have the resources, and they can't see a way forward, and they're waiting to get some type of enough resources to get started, to get their license. They're just waiting for that. Like, hey, my aunt's not feeling well. Maybe I can inherit some money, or somebody's just going to drop.
I'm waiting for my tax return.
I got
to pay off this first, and then I can
start, right? So there's this big stop sign in agents' heads,
people's heads.
Yeah.
It's not just agents;
Yes,
it's
right.
people in life, man.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Everybody sees the stop sign before they see the green light.
Yeah, and they want it. There's no denying that they want that thing for themselves, that vision, financial freedom, all this stuff. But I think for us, we can give agents practical tools here today to sync or give them handholds to reach what they're trying to accomplish, right? Mm-hmm. So the very first thing in this conversation of stop stopping is, number one, life insurance sales is a life-changing opportunity. It is life changing. And I remember our first conversation in regards to this, and you are so good at casting a vision and telling the process of how to reach that vision. And it wasn't just in life sales, it was the ability to grow something and invest in people. Like that spoke to me in so many levels that I saw a way forward. Like I didn't want to sell a widget. I wanted my life to matter, and that was very important. So you offered this opportunity. You told me what had to be done. It made me sick to my stomach because there was an investment. I found a way to make that investment and make it work. And the thing that's interesting to me, this industry is so big, and there is so much opportunity that even if you can't buy a lead, even if there's an investment in leads, right, and you can't afford that, there's still an incredible opportunity to make six figures in this industry just by getting your license. Like just by getting your license.
You mean when we get our license, they give us 6 figures?
Yeah, it's a done deal.
That sounds like the guy with the ad.
That's right. Hey, if you've no, you still have to do the work, and that's the thing, right?
Yes.
You still have to do the work. And here's a good example of this. We'll talk about this as a life-changing opportunity. You have an agent who's one of your close friends who does not buy leads.
Correct.
And he sells life insurance.
Correct.
And he's not he wouldn't classify himself as primarily as a life insurance agent. He probably
wouldn't
does
classify
not.
himself at all as a life insurance agent.
Right. Yeah. but
Although
he's-
he is one.
Right.
His primary business is something completely different.
Okay. Can you talk about that a little bit? What that looks like?
Yeah, he owns a gym, a training facility, gym, training program, personalized coaching.
Yeah.
And he and his partner have been in business for years. We've been members of their gym for years. We're friends of their family, And so through our association, he's purchased life insurance for himself, for his wife, for his kids from me. I've helped him. But I've also encouraged him to go get his own license because he started running into other people that had needs. And then he called me up and said, hey, I want to do this type of policy, me and my brother. I'm like, why don't you go get your own license? Go get your own license.
Yeah.
Because you're going to give me a bunch of commission, which I would rather you have. Because, yes, I would be happy to help you. However, there's no reason why you shouldn't make this money yourself. And it's not that difficult. And so he went and got his license. And, just this past year, he's probably, close to $100,000 in premium part-time.
Wow. Yeah.
No leads,
Yeah.
just referrals and running into opportunities to help people, with some whole life strategies for debt action plans or retirement planning, tax-free retirement planning with IULs. And like he's finding some niches that he's interested in the space, and he's leveraging that, having conversations with people, and it's turning into more than a full-time side income.
Right.
Most people don't make $60,000, $80,000, $100,000 part-time. That's usually their full-time job.
Right.
You can do that part-time here.
And he just has a life license.
And he has a life producer's license.
He didn't
He didn't invent
20
he didn't
grand.
invent Tesla. He didn't. He didn't put 20 grand in crypto.
No.
He just went and got his life insurance license.
And we had another conversation recently with some agents who have been doing this for a little bit. A server who got into an opportunity of selling IULs without leads, but using it as a tax-free retirement strategy. Life-changing.
Yeah.
Life-changing opportunity, earning 6 figures, having conversation, actually marketing himself on Instagram.
Yeah.
And reaching
As
out.
a 20-something, reaching his people.
Yeah, reaching out and met the love of his life that way.
Yeah.
I mean, just fascinating. It's fascinating.
And now he has like 17 agents that are onboarding with him.
Yeah.
Because of his passion for what's happening for him. And he's telling the story, and he's now growing his agency.
Yeah. So, like, first, here, we'll say this. Number one, stop waiting. How's that? Stop waiting.
100%.
Stop waiting and do something. Like, get your license and have a conversation. And you probably, like, there's no problem even saying to somebody, hey, I can write this policy for you. Like, if it's a friend or market or whatever, I can write this policy for you. Go ahead and get your license. You write it. You write it, and then you get discounted coverage for a year, and then you can help other people do the same thing. And then you're getting an override.
Yeah.
Helping that person, empowering them, showing them how to do it.
One of the greatest ways to recruit, if you're building an agency in your warm market, as they're ready to buy a policy from you because of one of the strategies you present to them, which you can do. There's 4 or 5 or 6 main types of strategies that you can focus on with life insurance sales that are uniquely different. And whatever that conversation is, and when they're ready to take action with you, show them, hey, if you do this with me, this is the commission that you'll make on this. Do you want some of that?
Yeah.
Or do you want me to have that?
Yeah.
And do you know anybody else who would like to have that
Bingo.
opportunity? And all of a sudden, you're now turning your clients into agents who then turn referrals that they have into other agents. And man, it is life-changing. It's an incredible opportunity.
If you're waiting, this is important to understand. Like, winners find a way to win.
100%.
That's it. Winners win, and losers lose. I wish it wasn't baked in. No, I do wish it. Like, it's baked into the universe. Winners win, and the reason winners win is they find a way. The reason winners win is because they have an abundant mindset. That you put good out there, good comes back to you. You are blessed with that. You're a blessing to other people. But when you stop and you're looking at the stop sign, you don't think it's for you. You think you're different. You think it's for other people to be successful. And if you were honest with yourself at this waiting point, you've probably done this your entire life.
Simon Sinek. You know who Simon Sinek is?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
What's his book? Start with Why?
Yeah, Start with Why. Yeah.
Start with Why. He and a friend of his got done running a marathon, I believe it was, or a mini marathon, one of those things. I don't know the specific details, but they just got done running this marathon. And his friend has to be somewhere, like within a short period of time after the race. And they come in and they finish. And whenever you finish those things, there's usually some stands around at the end with like oranges sliced up and bagels.
Yeah.
And some like water and some types of juices. And sometimes it might be sponsored by like Michelob Ultra, and you can go get a beer at the end too. You know what I mean?
Those are for runners?
Yes.
Oh, I usually see those and stop.
What?
Those tables on the side of the road? I thought those were for just...
They're not on the side of the road. Just kidding. Anyways,
edit that out.
So
bad joke.
So they come across the finish line, and everybody's mingling around, and Simon Sinek sees the bagels, and he says to his friend, "Hey, there's bagels over there." And his friend says, "Yeah, but look at the line." He goes, I got to be somewhere. Look at the line. And Simon says, "But they have bagels."
And when Simon says they have bagels,
when Simon says they have bagels, and he says, "Yeah, but man, like we got to go stand in that line." And Simon says, "I'm going to go see if I can get a bagel." And his friend was like trying to get out of there. And Simon went, and there was a line formed to the table, but the table is really wide.
Yeah.
And all the good bagels were being put in the middle. There were some, like the regular bagels on the outside. And he just went up and he just went around. He didn't butt anybody. He didn't butt in line. He just went around to the side and just reached in and took one of the bagels that was on the outside and started eating and started walking away. And some other people came and did the same. And he walked back over, and his friend said, "How'd you get the bagel?" He said, "Did you cut in line?" He goes, "No, I didn't cut in line. I went around the side and got myself a bagel." He said, "The problem is you saw the line and I saw the bagel."
Boom.
That's the only difference.
Boom.
So what do you see? Are you seeing the stop sign? Yeah. Are you seeing all the challenges? Are you seeing all the obstacles? Or are you seeing opportunity?
Yeah.
How you see things is a choice.
Yes.
Yes, it has something to do with perspective of how you were raised, of what you believe about yourself. You have to get around some people who may start to think differently,
That's big.
who challenge your thinking.
Yeah.
And when they challenge your thinking, it's going to hurt. And you're going to say, "I know they're saying it, but I don't believe it."
Yeah. Let me say, when you feel that thing in your stomach that makes you uncomfortable, I think people know, maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm the only one who ever experiences that. You're in the right conversation.
Yes.
Like somebody's challenging you and you feel that in your stomach.
And you know it, but you don't want to admit it. You don't want to admit it because you know someone's pulling you forward or calling something out inside of you that you may not have believed was possible or think is possible. You might think it's for them. That's not me. I'm not that person. Like my friend who got his license, he doesn't see himself as a sales guy.
No.
At all. He's a relationship person. And he shares good news. That's who he is.
That's great.
And that's all he's done. So yes, this is an unbelievable opportunity, and you got to stop seeing the stop sign.
Stop seeing the stop sign. The next thing that we see, or the conversations that we have, is related to kind of what you addressed earlier, Roger. Like if I can find the perfect lead, if I can find the magic lead, or the perfect carrier, if I can find the perfect relationship IMO, grass is greener, chasing waterfalls, as TLC says, all that stuff. You can't stop. How do we say this? You can't stop selling. You can't stop stopping. You can't, anyway.
Well, number one, you got to stop finding excuses.
Yeah, you got to stop finding excuses.
Stop finding excuses.
Yeah.
Like, there is no perfect situation. Nothing is perfect. We've had agents come and work with us, and then they leave and say, well, they didn't have this, they didn't have that. Nothing is perfect. However, have we made hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars in this industry?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so yeah, it might not be perfect, but it's pretty good. It's better than 99.5% of the rest of the world's opportunities, where you might get laid off tomorrow, or, the economy, all of a sudden you can't afford to buy eggs because it costs more than meat right now, because of a situation where you're limited and you don't have the capacity to grow. This business gives you an opportunity to go after what you want. So stop finding excuses, find something in someone, and lean in and just go to work and find a way to win in that environment.
Yes.
Nothing is going to be perfect. Don't expect perfection. You're not perfect. Stop demanding it from everyone else and every other opportunity. Go to work, mutually connect with people that have your interests, that want you to win, that have integrity, that you can trust. Lean into those relationships and figure out a way to win together with them. Lean in hard. Stop finding excuses in everything.
And
there are no perfect leads.
This is what's interesting to me. This excuse thing. I have found that there are some people who will come into the opportunity, and I thought, man, that person said all the right things. Holy cow. Yeah. They have capacity. They can do this. They've ran a successful business before. And then they come in, and all of a sudden they're buying groceries on Tuesday. I'm like, how did that happen? You weren't doing that before.
Yeah. Or they're at the tire dealer getting 4 new tires put on their car on Wednesday afternoon at 1.
Right.
And they're sitting in the waiting room.
Yeah.
At the tire
dealer.
They're
stopping because
they've stopped again.
Yeah. Yeah. And so then there's another agent I've seen and had conversations with, where maybe it was a blue collar situation and they were working 60 hours a week. 60 hours. And they were going to work, making it happen, coming home exhausted. They were looking for something. But they always had somebody tell them what to do. It was consistent. They were always telling them,
yeah,
I'm the boss. You show up. And they'd complain about their boss to their friends.
Correct.
And now they're the boss.
Yeah.
And they're on Tuesday at the grocery store, and on Wednesday getting their tires changed. And you're like, what happened to you?
Or they're trying to figure out how to log onto the websites at 10:30 on Monday morning instead of doing that on Friday afternoon when
you were working
they had no more appointments. You were working 60 hours before. Now you're doing your stuff, your busy work, your admin busy work during prime time,
right? And
you're burying your opportunity. And you're going to be back working 60 hours soon.
And that's got to feel like a failure and a resignation, going back to that. When you felt like you saw a vision, you were called to something greater in your life. That's such a challenge.
Those people end up looking for another job for something that's going to bail them out and give them some consistent income, where they can be told what to do again and show up on time.
Right. So stop finding excuses. Like, if you got work schedule time, schedule it. If you were working 60 hours before, work 60 hours here.
Correct.
And
do it for 3 or 4 years and see what happens. It will blow you away.
Yes.
If you focus on revenue generating activities during that time.
Stop
making excuses and find a way to win. I would say the next thing is, people do get started and then it starts to get hard.
Yeah.
They get no-showed. They get hung up on. They get leads. They call through their leads and nobody answers on the first time. And then you feel like, well, these leads are no good. I need money. I thought I was going to get a deposit on that. I wrote a policy and then they canceled. I was counting on that because I need to pay my mortgage next month. And I gave myself 1 month leeway, but I didn't actually start calling on clients till last week for whatever reason.
Right.
Because they thought they were going to be able to make money in 2 days all of a sudden. And now they get desperate. There's financial pressure on. It gets hard. And then they pull back instead of leaning in. It's like taking a plane down the runway, Chris. It's like a pilot going down the runway, and there's some rain and there's some wind, and he's going, I can't see very well, and there's a big crosswind. I'm going to pull back the throttle a little bit as I'm charging down the runway trying to get this plane off the ground. Let me pull back a little bit. I'm going to pull back. What do you think's going to happen?
Right.
You're going to crash that sucker. It's going in the pond out at the end of the runway, or it's going into the fence, or it's going into the freeway, or whatever is down there, because you're not going to get that thing off the ground. And then you're going to say it was the opportunity. It was the wind. It was the rain. It was my financial situation. It was my family. My mother-in-law got sick. Whatever. I don't know what it is. For you, you have to stop like quitting when things get hard. You have to push through.
Right.
And when your family calls and says, can you do this because you don't have a job anymore? Can you do this for me because I have to be at work? Hold on. I'm at work. We're both at work. Yeah, but you have a job and I have a boss and you are the boss. So you can let yourself off the hook. Who has the better opportunity here?
Right.
Like the person, you have the highest income opportunity.
Right.
Like, look at that and push through. You have to push through when it gets hard.
Yeah.
You have to put those throttles down, man, on that jet.
That's
you have
right.
to burn all the fuel to get that thing off the ground and into cruising altitude.
Yeah.
That plane burns a lot less gas once it's at 30,000 feet cruising than it does trying to get off the ground. It's like you say trying to get a rocket ship into orbit.
Right.
You got to burn all the fuel, and the fuel canisters even come off because you
right.
burnt it all.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like you've got to push through. When it gets hard, you can't quit. You can't bail out. It's like the stupid people trying to go down the ski jump, and then right before they hit the ski jump, they get scared, so they fall down, and then they flop over the jump. You've seen these videos. They're just the stupidest videos ever. Like, you got to go for it at that point.
Oh, no.
You know, those guys running off the cliff, you know, with one of those squirrel suits on. Can you imagine if they stop and bang, bang, bang all the way down instead of just going for it?
Yeah.
You've got to keep going when it gets hard.
I want our listeners, I want you to have this picture of where you are. Are you moving? Are you in motion? Or are you standing at the stop sign? Are you sitting in your car at the stop sign? You know that sound. You know, like, your car's running and you're sitting there. You know, you have the clear to go, but you're sitting there. Is that where you are? And you have to be honest with yourself and look at your life and say, how often did I do this? How often do I just stop and wait for the perfect thing to come to me? Like it's just going to magically appear. How often do I sit here? And then I want you to think about this too. When did I push through when it was hard and it worked for me? That's what you have to latch on to and move forward. Maybe it never has, and this is that moment. So that's what I want you to think through as we talk about this. And then finally, this is an interesting one to me. Is
Chris, let's stop. I want to go back there.
Okay.
When I was climbing Kilimanjaro last summer with my daughter,
Yeah.
my daughter and I climbed Mount Kilimanjaro last July. We set it up as a 3 or 4 year goal to get there. We've climbed a bunch of the 14ers in Colorado, and then we set a goal to go to Africa, Tanzania. It's the tallest freestanding mountain in the world. It's almost 20,000 feet. You go through 4 climate zones to get to the top.
Wow.
The top one's the Arctic zone. It's not easy. Generally over 14,000 feet, people start dealing with acute mountain sickness, oxygen deprivation. There's only like 40% oxygen saturation up there at the top than it is on the ground. Like a lot of challenges. And there were a few times on that mountain when it got really hard. It got really hard. Now, it's not a technical climb, so it's not like Everest or, one of these really severe mountains. I'm not mountaineering at this point. We're a lot of hiking and climbing, but it's not a technical climb. So you got a good chance at doing it if you follow directions from the guides. But there was a few places there where it got really hard. One was the Branco Wall. It was a 1,000-foot vertical wall, right? And you can't clip in. There's nothing to clip to. And so you're using all hands and feet now to climb this. And when you look up, you're looking up at the bottom of people's boots.
Oh, geez.
And when you look down, you're looking at the top of their heads. I mean, that's the
gosh.
view, okay?
Yeah.
You're shimming around some ledges this way, right? That's just it gives you the willies,
Yeah.
right? And so the guides are there with you, right? So they're navigating, and the very few deaths on the mountain, but people still die every year. But there's very few relative to how many that try to climb it. But there's a few places like that where it gets really scary, and some people stop, and some people don't push through, and they turn around and go back. There was a few places at the summit, on summit night, when we're trying to make the summit, and we're at 18,000 feet. It's pitch dark. The moon is in the sky, and it's 15 degrees Fahrenheit, below freezing, and you're climbing at a snail's pace because there's no oxygen, and your legs don't want to work. Your body feels weird. It's a surreal experience. The only thing you can hear is footsteps and breathing. There's no animals. There's no planes. There's no traffic, and it's just you inside of this. You've got, it's just you with your thoughts, and it's really, really hard. And all you want to do is stop and sit down. But the guides, they're giving you direction on how to win, but you still have to push. So many people. There's some people that get to Stella Point, which is 45 minutes from the summit, and you can actually see the summit from Stella Point. They call it the point of no return. And some people make it to Stella Point, and they do not summit.
Wow.
After 6 or 7 days climbing to get to that point, they quit because they can't mentally focus to push through. Like, it's going to get hard in business. It's going to get hard in life. It's going to get hard no matter what it is that you choose to do, something big in your life, something that you want to accomplish. It's going to be hard. But I tell you what, when you push through the wall with the support of others, and I had a porter come by and grab my arm right here like this and walk with me. Those last steps for over an hour, had my arm and would not let go and walked with me. Didn't pull me, didn't push me, walked with me. And like, you need some people like that in your life. When it gets hard, you got to lean into them, but you can't stop. You cannot stop. Stop quitting. Too many people quit. They don't push through, and they never learn that lesson. Yeah. So when you said lean back on something where you pushed through before and you won, like, that's the memory of success. And that's where confidence comes from. And you've got to do it at one point in your life, or you'll never have that. Push through this thing, figure it out, find a way to win, and you'll win.
Wow, that's good, man. And I know we got to wrap here, but the one thing, another one that does surprise me is quitting when it gets easy.
Oh man, this is the one that gets most people.
Yeah, they start to have success, and I don't know why it happens, but perhaps it's you start to pat yourself on the back a little bit, and you think it's always going to be there, and then
what have you seen? What have you seen when this happens? What are the symptoms? Describe that for them.
Okay, I would say an agent writes 10,000 in a week, 12,000 in a week, and the next week they did not have time planned to take off, but they decided they're going to take the next week off
because they're counting on those $8,000-$10,000 of commissions to come in.
Yeah, and so they're feeling pretty good about the opportunity. It is what they thought it was, and they're feeling good. And then the next week, well, Monday comes around. I'm not so sure if I want to go out Monday. I've got this and this. It goes back to the excuse thing, but now it's attached to this idea of what success is, right? And they take some time off. Tuesday, possibly. They might go out Wednesday. It's going to be a short week, Wednesday, Thursday. They didn't get any applications, probably went out Wednesday at noon or 1. And then Monday the next week comes around. So you start to see this pattern. And then all of a sudden they get an email that says they had a chargeback, and then they go out on Tuesday. But you see if you're watching an EKG, it's not a consistent heartbeat. It's a beep beep beep. It's flatlining. What they don't realize is they haven't earned the level of success to reinforce the good habits that they had when they were selling. What they don't realize is even good agents, when they take significant time off, are rusty. And significant time off could be a week. They've decided, in some cases, they've decided, I think I know this well enough, I can make this my own. And they've stopped leaning on a support system that was helping them be successful.
Yeah, they tried to shortcut.
They're looking for shortcuts. They're looking for easy money. They're looking for laydowns. And they're getting 1 or 2 yeses, and they're not getting the 3 to 5 maybes that they were getting before. And now the opportunity doesn't work anymore. That is the typical pattern.
Another thing I see, Chris, is an agent will go out and have a lot of success in writing business, and they're because of their success writing business and because of their success in their deposits, they start to see some things. They start to talk to people around them. They start sharing the idea. They go, I can grow an agency. and they hire 1 or 2 people, and then they completely stop doing the thing that drives their revenue, and then they start focusing on their 3 people, and then they try to hatch them. It's like they get 3 eggs, and now they're going to sit on them and try to hatch them like a little chicken in there. I'm just going to sit on this thing. I'm going to hatch you. And it doesn't work like that. No. You got to put them in the car with you, let them see what you're doing. You got to put them on the phone with you so they can hear what you're doing. You got to put them on the Zoom so they can see what you're doing. Whatever it is that you're doing, you still have to keep doing that and stop taking your eyes off this, which is causing you the success, right? And take your foot off that and then start focusing on something else, which takes away from your success. And then when they don't work out, or when only one of them hatches part ways and the other 2 don't even hatch ever, then you blame the opportunity because it's not what you thought. And all it was is you just stopped doing the thing that brought you success. You literally pulled away from the thing that you were doing when you were winning.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's incredible. You see this all the time.
Yeah, and it's the great thing about, well, here's the key. Here's the key to success is the consistency in the work that you're doing. And I think, and I'll give Adam the kudos on this, but he talking about teaching people music, but focus and repetition equals consistency. Focus and repetition equals consistency, and consistency is what leads to success.
And that's really all we're talking about here.
No, just show up and keep doing it.
The key to success is consistency.
Yeah.
Taking the correct action in the right direction over time leads to success.
Stop stopping.
That's it.
That's
right?
it.
Some people say what is I'm trying to get the phrase of, like a long obedience in the right direction. Some people say a long obedience in the right direction.
Yeah.
That means like proper action with consistency over time in the right direction ultimately leads to success and massive success. It's the only thing it ever has.
Yeah.
It's the only thing it ever has. And you have to push through to win. So want to give a shout out. We got to give some props. A big milestone happened this week.
Oh, yeah.
A big milestone happened this week.
That's right.
And so we had a milestone. Adam Steffen, our producer. Adam, I don't know. You're going to somehow have to give yourself like a. We're going to put you on the screen here, Adam. Adam, the producer. Adam Steffen, the pro producer of the Life Insurance Academy podcast and all things associated with us, took over our YouTube channel back just 12 months ago, and we went from less than 800 to subscribers. And we just passed 5,000 subscribers on our YouTube channel this week. Now, I know there's big YouTube channels with hundreds of thousands of subscribers.
Look out, Taylor Swift. look out.
Jeez.
She's going to be on the podcast one day for no reason at all.
Maybe. But we just hit that milestone. The audio podcast is doing phenomenal. We're over 40,000 downloads a month right now. So thank you guys for listening.
Thank you.
We want to appreciate you because without the feedback, without the comments, without you guys engaging with our courses and our coaching, we wouldn't really get to know you. And so we love the fact that you listen and that you engage and that you give us feedback and you show up, and hopefully we're making a difference in some people's lives. But when we first started this thing, man, nobody was listening.
Right.
And for 6 months, it seemed like nobody was listening. But we had to have consistency.
Right.
We had to push through. And push through and push through. And here we are 3 years later, and we cannot believe the engagement we have. So thank you to you, man. Thanks to Zach. I know Zach's not on with us today, but I want to give a big shout out to Adam, our producer. Great stuff. And thank you guys for always listening. And we hope this episode was good for you. We got some special stuff lined up in the next coming episodes that you're not going to want to miss. Share this episode and share this podcast with your friends. Share our YouTube channel. Give us a like. Give us some feedback. Give us a rating. Spotify, I believe Apple now, maybe I think you can do ratings on both of those platforms now. Give us a thumbs up, give us a rating, share it. We'd love to have more engagement, but thank you for being here, and we'll see you next time on the Life Insurance Academy podcast.